Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Welcome to the fourth session of the impurities and the purities, the najasat and the taharat in Islam. So far we discussed the wudu, we discussed the janaba, the ghusl of the janaba, and we started talking about animals that live with us, and we emphasize on one rule. We'll come to it. And today we'll be talking about the skin of animals, what is dead and what is not, and the food that we'll eat, because they are related to each other's. When some portions of the food is impure or najis and we are not allowed to eat. But regarding the rule that we mentioned earlier, remember this rule. It will help you a lot in your life. اليقين لا يزول بالشك. Yaqeen, when you are certain of something, it should not be cancelled out or nullified by doubts. Okay? اليقين لا يزول بالشك. Example, you are wearing your clothing and you are in a park and a dog comes near you. You have some doubts whether that dog sniffs on you and the saliva or the nose or whatever it has mucus coming on your clothing or not. Now you have the yaqeen of your clothing, that your clothing are clear and pure and they were washed, but you have some doubts about the animal because you're not sure. In that case, which one is stronger? The yaqeen that your clothing are clear and pure, or the shak that maybe some najasa impurity came from the dog? Yaqeen is stronger, so you consider yourself pure and don't worry about the doubts. Okay, also you are in your salah and you have some doubts that maybe you broke your wudu in a way or another. Stick to the yaqeen, certainty. You made wudu, you are sure, stick to that. Your relation with people, take that also to your relation with people in the future, with your spouses and people around you. If you have yaqeen, your family member, your friend, then don't leave that to any doubt. Okay. Today we'll talk about the skin of animals and some issues related to the food. What is in my hand? This is wallet made of skin, most likely skin of a cow, right? So if this cow was slaughtered in an Islamic way, can we use the skin? Yes, no problem, right? And if you touch it with your wet hand or if some water comes on it, then it doesn't no najasa to come on your hand, right? Because najasa comes only when there is moist, right? And if it is the najasa itself is liquid. What if that cow dies by itself or it is not slaughtered properly? Can we still use the skin or not? Yes, we can. Any hadith, any dalil? Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed by a sheep that was dead, and he told the Sahaba, why don't you benefit from the skin or the hide of that animal? So a sheep that was dead, people throw it. He said, why don't you benefit from the skin? And leather and skin in the old days were very, very, very expensive. Even nowadays, when they are processed like that, a wallet like that, it has, So he said, why don't you benefit from the skin? Make a belt, make something. They said, oh, Allah's messenger, it is dead. إنها ميتة يا رسول الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم إنما حرم أكلها. What is forbidden is to eat the meat. This is what your point. So what is haram is to eat the meat, but the skin is fine. Now, if you take the skin immediately, you cannot use it because the animal that is dead is impure, najis, and the skin is also najis. You have to process it. Have you ever heard about the tanning of skin? Tanning of the skin. They take the skin and they add a lot of salt. This is an old style. Nowadays they put chemical. They put a lot of salt on it under the sun, dry it out, then they start rubbing it to remove the traces of meat and the blood from it. Then they wash it, then they boil it, etc. That is the old style. Nowadays they use a lot of chemical. So Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam يقول إذا طهر إذا دبغ الإهاب الجلد إذا دبغ الإهاب فقد طهر إذا دبغ الإهاب فقد طهر. If the hide or the skin or the leather is tanned or is processed, then it is purified. Can you repeat the hadith? if the skin or the hide is tanned or processed, it is purified. Okay? So the sheep that was dead at the time of Rasulullah ﷺ on the ground, they cannot eat the meat because the meat was not slaughtered in an Islamic way. But the skin, if they take the skin and they process the skin, then they can use it. Okay? So this wallet, if it is made from a skin, even if it is not slaughtered Islamically, still because it is processed, because it is an animal originally, an animal that we eat, then it becomes pure. Sounds good so far? Okay, question. What about the skin and the leather and the hides of animals that we don't eat in the first place? Like fox or like crocodiles. They make purses sometimes, crocodiles, and shoes or skin of snakes or whatever you name it. Is the rule of tanning and purifying through tanning applied also to animals that we don't eat, or they are just for the dead sheep and the cows and other animals that we eat? So the majority of scholars say it is a general rule. Okay, a general rule, the rule that any skin, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam قال إذا دبغ الإهاب فقد طهر, that when the skin is purified or tanned, is tanned or processed, then it's purified. So a fox that is dead, I guess many countries now ban people from hunting, but in the old days they used to hunt and do that. If a crocodile, if any animal is dead and you purify the skin, then based on the hadith, it is okay. But what about dogs and pigs?
No.
Now the hadith says that any ihab, إذا دبغ الإهاب فقد طهر. Is there an exception for dogs and pigs or not? Yes, scholars say because it is mentioned in the Quran, specifically the khinzir, the pig, is mentioned in the Quran that فإنه رجس, it is filthy. So all the scholars agree that the pigs, you should not use the skin of it. Okay? Or let us say the majority of scholars. And the dog is also the same because of the hadith that even the saliva you have to wash. Did you mention that in the last class? That if the dog licks inside a container, then you have to wash it 7 times. And one of them using dirt or using chemical nowadays or bar soap. So scholars say the hadith of the tanning of the skin, there is an exception. Dogs and pigs, they are not included. Okay? So to summarize, any skin, with the exception of dogs and pigs, any skin, when it is treated, when it is processed, when it is tanned, then it becomes purified. A fox, crocodile, a cow, a sheep, anything, you can benefit from that. Okay, sounds good? So don't worry about your hand wet touching it, because no najas in the first place, because the skin is processed. Now, if the skin is not processed, it is a problem. If there is a dead animal and you touch it with your hand and there is a blood on it, for example, or it is wet because of rain or water, or your hand is even moist, like in the morning, you touch like a dead animal that has a skin, then you have to wash your hand. Does that break your wudu, by the way? Touching like najis, will that break your wudu? We mentioned that before. You remember what I said? You are in the bathroom and you left the bathroom, you have wudu, but you stepped on something najis. Will that break your wudu, or just you wash your feet? Just your feet. So if you have you are coming to the masjid, and outside the masjid, there is a dead animal or something, and you try to remove it, or a cat or something, or a squirrel or something, you try to remove it away from the masjid, okay? The path of people. So you grab a napkin or something, and you throw it. But because it was wet or something, then you have najasa on your finger. Does that break your wudu? Is this one of the things that break your wudu? No. Just you go and you wash your hand, that will be enough. You remove the najasa. Sounds good? Even if the najasa dries out, you have to clean it. Even if you are in the bathroom and you finish the business and you come out, if the najasa dries out, you don't clean it quickly by napkins or tissue, you have to use water. But if you immediately you do the business and you answer the call of nature, then you use tissue, it will be fine. Okay? it will be fine. But if it is dries out, then you have to clean it. Okay. Coming to the hair of animals. Can you, while an edible animal, a sheep or a cow, can you cut the hair and use it?
Yes.
It is still alive. Can you use it?
Yeah.
Yes. Can you use the hair of fox while it's still alive?
Yeah.
Yes. Now, what if it dies? Can you cut the hair? So Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, why you are not benefiting from the skin or the hair of that sheep? He said the skin. Now, if one of the Sahaba comes to the hair of that sheep, it is dead, and cut the hair only, the wool of the sheep, can he use it?
No. Yeah.
No, you cannot. It is dead. But if they purify the skin and process the skin, the hair by default will be pure. Does that make sense? Okay, so the skin will purify it. It is like when you slaughter it, everything becomes halal, right? So tanning will make the skin halal, and what comes out of the skin also halal and pure. Sounds good so far? Okay. By the way, I wish in the future you bring your notes, like Sister Alicia, mashallah, she's taking her notes. This is something good that you are taking your notes. And that will help you refresh your memory in the future. You can go over. Because normally, in a normal condition, people will remember only 20% of what they heard. But if they leave and they start thinking about it and try to remember, then they will remember more. If they write down and later on review or write down, then they memorize more. Okay? But in normal condition, just listening like that, you get 20%, 30%. But if you write down, you increase the possibility that you remember. If you write down and you review, you increase the possibility. If you review again and again, that will increase. Okay? So I wish you would do that in the future, either on your phones if you have devices or other things. Okay. The hair of dead animal, again, you cannot use it. What about animals that we don't eat, like fox?
It's fine.
Can you use the hair?
Yes, but it's got this.
Yes, while it's still alive. If it dies, then no. What about the hair of a pig?
No.
Now you know that a lot of brushes, people, if you paint, ladies, like to paint and girls, you paint a lot of these brushes, even when you paint in your house, not even like painting and draw. They make these brushes from the hair of a pig, swine. Is this pure? Is this pure? The hair itself, is it pure? Is that pure? No, it is not pure. Now, if it is dry, again, it is a pig. We're talking about a pig. We're not talking about other animals. The pig specifically, it is rijs. In the Quran, this is filthy. Now, if it is dry, you buy a brush and it is dry and your hand is dry and you touch it. Will you get some najasa impurity? No, it is dry and your hand is dry and the brush is dry. Now, if you are painting and you touch the brush, there is moist, right? There is moist, then the najasa comes in your hand. You have to wash your hand after that. Okay?
What if you touch the painting after it's dried?
Oh, the najasa is still there. Oh, no. If you touch the paint after it is dry, no, the najasa will not touch your hand. Okay? Because jaf ala jaf tahir bila khilaf, right? Dry on a dry, then there is no najasa. Okay, sounds good?
Yes.
Okay. Coming to something else. Our food that we eat. Is it allowed for any Muslim to add haram substance inside the food of Muslims? No.
No.
So this is at all. A Muslim should not add any haram substance inside the food of Muslims. Now, what if a non-Muslim does it, or by mistake something haram falls in it? We talked in the past about a fly coming inside the water, or some insect that doesn't have a blood. Does it change and doesn't change anything? Doesn't change the color, the smell, the taste? Will that be fine to use that water? Yes, because it is not, doesn't have a blood. Okay, doesn't have a blood. The problem is with animals that have blood and change the color. Okay. What if someone adds alcohol to the food? They do that sometimes.
Yeah,
And meat, steaks, when they cook them or when they marinate them. Now, it is not allowed for a Muslim to do it. It's not allowed for a Muslim to do it. Now, if it comes inside the food by a non-Muslim, can you eat that food or not?
No.
What if you don't know?
If you don't know, good question.
I'll just go.
If somebody doesn't know, will Allah hold us accountable for things that we don't know?
No.
You don't know, that will be fine. But now, if you know that this restaurant and and they add the wine, they add wine to the food, to the meat, when they cook them, they say, oh, it evaporates with cooking. It evaporates with cooking. If that happens, which is less likely and not true, if all of alcohol evaporates, then there is no alcohol in it. Then it will be fine to eat. But the problem with all of these steaks that they make, it goes down and maybe 50%, 60% evaporates, but the rest of it stays inside the steak. So it is not allowed to consume because still it has impurities. Does that make sense? Because still it has haram. But if it is proven, again, which is less likely, one of the youth one time, he said, no, Sheikh, it evaporates. And I said, it doesn't. And I went and I checked, it doesn't evaporate. So still, some percentage still there, you cannot eat it. Yes.
Even if they evaporate, I think there's still gonna be like a different taste to it.
When we say evaporate, means nothing to stay of the three characteristics. You remember? Smell or color or taste. This is evaporate completely.
Then
If
why
it
do they
stays,
use it?
if it stays, then yes, this is not evaporating. Evaporating completely, disappearing. Okay. Coming to another thing. What if a small amount of najasa falls inside big amount of halal food? Small amount of najasa falls in big amount of halal food. Is this allowed or not to consume?
If it doesn't change it,
Doesn't change it. No. What's your answer?
If it doesn't change the taste,
Just remove the part that got
What it is
just
is
marinate it and just throw it and then eat the rest.
Okay.
Why throw the rest?
Give me some scenarios. Okay.
If you mix it with the other food, it can make the other flavors go.
Okay.
Just get rid of
We're talking about a huge amount. You remember? We're talking about a huge amount. You remember in water, we said that about water. Water, if إذا بلغ الماء القلتين لم يحمل الخبث. When the water is huge, 2 which is 60 gallons or more, it doesn't carry the najasa. Now, many ships, unfortunately, many ships in the sea, they dump their filthy water in the sea. And fish and all of that, consume and eat from it. Still, you can make wudu from it. You can consume the fish, right? That comes from that. Why? It is allowed.
because it doesn't change the taste.
It doesn't change taste or color or smell. So if this najasa is very tiny and it disappears, again, is it allowed for a Muslim to do it? No. We're talking about it happened by mistake. If somebody did it, if it falls and it disappears in a huge amount, should not be small amount. So this amount is not tolerated. This is small, okay? It is a huge amount, like a sea or ocean. Then it disappears. We call it istihlak. We call it istihlak. Exhausted and disappeared. That najasa exhausted and disappeared. Okay, something related to our life. Factories make chips, and sometimes they make chips of cheese, right? And there are a lot of cheese and types of cheese in the stores. Many of them are made of the enzymes that are taken from non-halal, non-Islamic animals, usually from calves' stomach. Calf, small cows, stomach. So they take it from the stomach, and should be young. They take it from it, something that is not halal according to many scholars. Then they put it in the cheese, and the cheese they make cheese in the stores, and they make chips. Is this allowed or not? What is the amount of haram in that case?
small.
Very, very, very tiny enzymes when they add it to milk. So in a factory, you can say they have a big bowl or container or a tank of milk, Then they add a little bit, of enzymes. Then over time, the enzymes turn, the milk into cheese. Now, do you have any smell or color or taste of the original thing? No, it disappears. So can you eat these chips and cheese in stores? Yes. Even if they are made, originally the enzyme is made of non-zabiha or non-halal or non-Islamic slaughtered animal. Does that make sense? What if it is taken from pigs, enzymes, and it is najis, and it is pure, but it disappeared, and the amount is huge, more than 2 قلة, أكثر من قلتين, 2 huge containers, bigger than 2 huge
Just stay
containers.
on the safe side. You don't
To stay on the safe side is better, and this is wara. Wara means to avoid what is halal to stay on the safe side. This is wara. Al wara. Some people like to stay away from all of that. But unfortunately, the majority of the cheese in the stores nowadays, you are in the US, the majority of the stores, they are made of enzymes that most likely are taken from non-zabiha or halal or Islamic slaughtered animals. The majority. So would you like to avoid cheese and chips and all of that? Somebody might do it. And he will be rewarded for that. Okay, do you like pizza? Oh, the majority of that cheese. Okay, there is another problem, another example. There is another substance that they take it from the hair of a human being. Can you believe it that they add a certain chemical thing? They call it, I guess, L-cysteine. L-cysteine. It is E, if you find it, okay, I have the note. E920. E920. They take it from the hair of a human being and from the feather of ducks and sometimes the feather of chicken. And why they add it to the dough?
To make it tasty.
Makes it easy to stretch out. The pizza, especially pizza places. So it's easy to stretch out. So they take it from. Now, can you eat a human being or his hair? Can you buy it? No. Human being should be honored. Are you sure? No. A human being is honored. You don't eat the flesh of a human being, and you don't sell, right? Even the hair, because the hair is growing from the flesh, right? Look at the hair, it comes, from the flesh. So it's not allowed originally as a Muslim to add that. But now they do and they add it. But it is a small amount, very tiny, and it disappears. No smell, no color, no taste. It will be fine to use.
What about if you're selling your organs, like a human organ?
Another class. Selling? No, it's not allowed. So selling organs? No.
They
But
do donations.
they do
organ
donations. Okay,
donations.
another topic. Donating like organs.
Okay, so what if you're like, your driver license?
Okay. Consult with your father. If you apply for your driver license, consult. Yeah, they ask you if you want to donate your organs or not. But ask your parents, can arrange with that. Okay, not our topic. Let us focus here.
Are you allowed to do that though, Islamically? I don't.
Here's my organ.
After death, many scholars celebrated that. In short, yes, but not all scholars. Some said you save the life of others. Some others said the body is amana. Allah entrusted you this body. You should not give it. This is after death. We're talking about after death. So some of them said saving the life of someone is as if you are saving a humanity. Huge reward. Others said no, but this body is not yours. You are using it and you return it back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You should not. This is what. When you are alive, you should not, unless if you are saving the life of another person without affecting your life. This is in short. Sorry.
You sell your kidney, like yeah.
I answered. Did you listen to me? I answered that already. I said when you are alive and you can save the life of a person without affecting your life, then yes. Okay, back to the topic. So we're shifting to organ donation. Okay, so the hair of a human being, the substance that they add in the bread. Now, if you say I want to avoid that, fine, you can avoid all of that. May Allah reward you. Avoid the pizza, avoid the cheese, avoid the chips, avoid all of that, because you don't want this tiny haram that is and that will be better. Living in a Muslim country will help, because that the government and the society will help you stay away from all of that, right? But here in the US, you have to deal with that. Okay. Other thing. So what we call this when a small amount disappears in big amount, what we call it? Istihlak. Exhaustion, istihlak. Okay, exhausted, disappear. There is another way to purify najasa. So there are different ways to purify najasa. Making small amounts, disappears in a big amount. Oh, there is an interesting story I have to mention here. A Bedouin came to the masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he urinated in the masjid. Okay, and the old masjids they don't have carpets. They don't have carpets. You know that. The masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was just the dirt. Then Umar ibn Khattab added some pebbles in the masjid. They call it Haswat Umar, Haswat Uthman, to make it easy. Then these carpets came later on. In the old days, they would come to the masjid with their shoes and they would pray wearing their shoes. But there is an etiquette. Before you pray, before you enter the masjid, you take off your shoes and you look at the bottom. If there is some najasa or impurity, especially in the old days when they have animals in the streets, then you rub it again at the dirt because that is a purifying. So this is another thing to learn about how to purify najasa. There are many ways to purify najasa. One of them, if they are on the shoes, at the bottom of the shoes, you rub them against the dirt. Then you walk with them in the masjid. But if it is in your hand, you are not allowed to rub your hand in the dirt. Unless if you don't have water. But shoes, you can rub them. And they would pray in the masjid while they're wearing their shoes. So this Bedouin came and Muslims, it was after Salah, Muslims were sitting in one corner in the masjid. And the masjid big a bit, and there was palm trees, trunks. So he thought that side is empty and nobody's using it. So let me, go there and urinate. So he went down and some of the Sahaba saw him and they jumped, just wanted to beat him. And Rasulullah said, just wait, let him finish. And he finished. And he educated him, He told him that this is a masjid, a place of worship and all of that. Then he told them, this is the point. He told them, bring a bucket of water and dump it over the najasa. So the najasa is small, right? The urine, small. But dump a huge amount of water on it. We call it mukathara. We make the water kathir and the najasa is qalil, mukathara. Now you don't need it nowadays because we use tap water. But imagine the old days, if you have a container of water that has some impurity inside it, and you have a huge amount of water that is pure, should you get rid of this because small amount coming into small amount? No, you can dump this one, in the big amount, and see, mukathara will be big and disappears. But we don't need that, okay, at that time. Nowadays, in restaurants, when they, sorry, factories, when they make the cheese. So this is, interesting story about Rasulullah. There is another way to purify najasa. What if the najasa itself changes? What does that mean? If you drink a cup of water, after 2 hours, this water will be urine. You go to the bathroom, right? Or 3 hours or 4 hours. So is it najis or not najis?
Yes, najis.
Why don't you say it was water? Why don't you say that?
Well, it became
That's not water.
Because it is not water anymore, although they are liquid. But there are differences, right? So what we care about in najasat is what it was or what it is now.
what currently.
What is currently, right? What it is now. Okay? Now the gelatin, they take it from pigs. Gelatin. They take it from the bones and they make a new substance. Is this halal or not? Is it purified, although it was impurified, najasa or not? What do you think?
Well, using something physical.
We must avoid it.
Okay, another example. Imagine that you have a tree, fruit tree, and someone or some kids urinated underneath that, or beside it there is sabbatical tank or some filthy water from bathrooms, and you have a fruit on the animal on the tree. You have fruit on the tree. Can you eat it from that tree?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, some of that apple, nice apple, some of that grow sucking the filthy water. Can you eat it or not?
Yes.
It doesn't have bad smell, doesn't have the smell or the taste or the color of najasa. Can you eat it or not?
Yes. شوف في درهم يا احمد عشان تعرف.
Uh,
ده أنا بكره.
okay. So we say what it is now, not what it was. What it is now, it is an apple, right? It is now an apple. By the way, a lot of the food that you eat, many still farms they use as fertilizers. They take the stools of animals. You know that many farms traditional, especially back home. It is cheaper to take the stools and filthy of animals and put it under the trees. Even nowadays, even some farms that day I saw something in a documentary. Uh, for fish, they have chicken and fish underneath them. So the chicken waste goes down to the water, and the fish eat it from that. You know. Also, birds and chicken, they take chicken farms. Chicken farms, they grow with some blood, some areas when they make the concentrated food for animals, chicken and other animals. They take bones and some waste, and sometimes they make some blood. I'm not sure if it is allowed in the US or not. Some countries they add to the feed of the chicken. Now you have a flesh of a chicken. You don't have a blood or filthy. So it changed from something impure, najis, to something pure, halal. Can you eat it or not?
I think so, yeah.
What it is now or what it was? Which one
What
counts?
is now?
What it is now.
What it is now? Okay, gelatin and pigs.
No.
No.
What it is now is gelatin. What it was, is it something to eat or not?
No.
Okay, scholars differ than that. You know what is the problem? The problem is with the chemists, not with the scholars. Scholars agree that if the pig's substance, bones or whatever is taken, change to a new substance, then it is a pure. But not all of them agreed that after boiling the bones for a long period of time, then you have the gelatin, so it is a new substance. Some said no, it is not a new substance. It is simple, and there are many similarities. Then other scholars said no, it is a new substance. You remember the cup of water that it becomes urine? The difference is not that much. It's not that much, especially if you're somebody drinks a lot of water, then urine will be clear, almost like the color of water. So the difference is very just some percentage. So there is a meeting by Muslim pharmacists in 1990s, 95, I guess. They had pharmacist Muslims, and they said the gelatin is a new substance that is different than the original substance. Based on that, scholars adopted that fatwa and they said yes, you can eat from the gelatin. Other scholars said no. If you avoid it, that would be great. But if not, we call this istihala. Istihala, what we call it? Istihala. Istihala. So change from substance. So think about chicken that we eat. Think about the fruit. Think about the cheese that you eat. Think about chips. So it's not only gelatin. Think about other things. Think about other things. But it's better to avoid gelatin. My advice is to avoid it. It's not necessary, and always there are alternatives. So just avoid it. Okay, avoid it. It's better. But if somebody eats it, personally, I don't make a big war on it. Still, some scholars said it is a new substance and it is istihala. It is well known in fiqh, etc. Many of the fruit back home, of the trees and agriculture and all of that, many people eat it from all of that. There is something prohibited completely. Al-jallala. Al-jallala is when animal grows completely on filth to the point that even the meat is different. Al-jallala, like a chicken that it grows on blood and chemical and all of that. So in Islam, you should not eat al-jallala immediately. You should purify it. Let it stay away from the filth for 40 days to purify it. Then after that, you eat it. But this is in the old days. Some people back home still they don't eat the chicken that are growing in farms because they say this is back home. I'm not sure about factories here and farms here because they mix blood. They say it is jallala, ma bukluha. they don't eat it. They say if I should have a chicken, I should make it live for 40 days away from all of that concentrated food fodder. Then after that we eat it. Wallahu ta'ala alam. But other scholars say if it changes to something new substance, then it will be fine. So how many ways so far we have to purify najasa? How many ways? All of what we said it before. So najasa on the skin, what you do? Wash with water. Water or chemical and bar soap? Water, right? You remember we said water purifies. If needed, you can use chemical. Other ways?
No, I'm talking about like you can't use chemicals. Like how about hand sanitizer?
Excellent. So this is one of the things I guess that the scholars will be discussing in the future, probably. If there is scarce in water, maybe in the future, maybe some scholars will start discussing about hand sanitizers. What if I can make wudu with chemical, just something. Maybe that will be a new topic. But so far scholars here, they say alhamdulillah water is available, and if you don't have water, what you do? You have tayammum. Right? We have tayammum. So alhamdulillah we have Islamic solution. But if the najasa comes on your hand, you remove it with water. Okay, on the private parts in the bathroom, are you forced to use water or you can use tissues? You can use tissues, unless if it dries out. Then you use, what? You have to use, water. Now, the same najasa that is tolerated after answering the call of nature, and you can use a tissue. If it falls on your foot, you have to use water. So the only place that najasa is tolerated to be removed by a tissue or napkin is a private part at the time of answering the call of nature. If you are late or it falls on somewhere else, you have to use water. Now, what if najasa is on the ground?
Then you wash your feet.
On the ground,
Clean it this way.
you add water to it. What if it is outside? What if it is outside? Okay, let us review inshallah next class. Time for Salat al-Isha. And that will be the last class, okay, for us in this series. Okay? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Prepare yourself for a review, evaluation.